Hey there, welcome to the Uplift, the show that lifts you up for at least the next 30 minutes. You and me as well. We got a great show for you today and a great cast of characters, among them these. A 7-year-old boy with a dream of working for UPS. What big surprise did he get to deliver? Also, a mom who had 9 kids over 20 years and just added a 10th achievement to her list. And one of the world's biggest peacetime airlifts. What event brought all of these planes to a single place? And who was on board? Also, remembering Ruby, the rambunctious shelter dog who turned her life around and made a rescue so serendipitous it sounds like a movie. Plus, a power couple breaking barriers in their industries. What message are they trying to share? We'll tell you all that, plus our most heartwarming videos of the week. You're watching The Uplift. Welcome to The Uplift. I'm Tony DeCopo. I'm in a gray suit, but it's going to be sunshiny yellow by the end of this show. We're going to start with our most heartwarming videos of the week and begin with this one from Colleyville High School in Texas.
Jackson Fadden. Alia Hayaz. Sean Ferris. Reed Finch. Connor Flanagan. John Flanagan Matterton. Zachary Fleet.
That is Mario, and while it was his granddaughter's graduation, every single kid there got an individual cheer by name. Love that. Way to go, Mario. All right, now take a look at this sweet video of 2 friends who haven't seen each other in a good long while.
I miss you. I miss you, Oliver. I like you too, Aaron.
Oliver and Aaron, they are 3 years old. They had not seen each other for 2 months, which is like 20 years in toddler years. It's a long time when you're that young. All right, now to another pair of toddlers, 2 sisters, Frankie and Stevie, having a little bit of an etiquette lesson. Take a look.
Me, I, B, it's goose. Goose? No, it's not goose. Goose. Me.
Lesson learned. All right, 7-year-old Drew is a huge fan of UPS, and he recently got the opportunity to help the company deliver something very special, joy. CBS Sacramento's Molly Reel has the story.
7-year-old Drew Bosman loves UPS.
Every time a UPS truck would go by, UPS!
His favorite color? Brown. His Halloween costume? You guessed it.
We got him a little uniform for Halloween and it stuck. He started wanting to put it on and deliver packages to his friends, and he told everyone who would listen that he wants to be a UPS truck driver when he grows up.
And his mom Becky says it's because Drew says UPS delivers joy, which is fitting.
Joy is kind of my platform as it relates to Down syndrome because, to be honest, having a kid with Down syndrome has been the greatest source of joy in my life.
And today, UPS delivered something special to Drew, his biggest dream, to suit up in brown and bring parcels filled with presents to his peers.
We heard that he loves delivering, loves UPS, and he loves bringing joy for what we do to other people.
In a miniature truck decorated with flames and filled with packages, UPS driver Ian Geddes drove Drew to his school at Caleb Greenwood. Together, they announced their arrival, unloaded the parcels, and wheeled them onto campus for Drew's first grade class. Living his dream, delivering joy.
This little kid who would do anything that anybody asked freely. And we get a call from this lovely corporation willing to do something like this for us. And it's just everything.
Drew's mom says joy is the delivery he makes every day.
That's what Drew's here to do. He does it to everybody he meets, and it just moves you to tears.
Coming up, Pride Month, and we are celebrating by highlighting an institution that started 44 years ago and was the very first of its kind. We'll We'll talk to one of its longest serving members on how it spread joy then and now. Plus, one of the world's biggest peacetime airlifts. Who is on these jets? And where are they going? Welcome back to the Uplift. A special airlift of 128 jets recently touched down in Orlando with hundreds of athletes on board. Chris Van Cleve shows us what brought them there.
With the choreography of a ballet, 128 jets touch down minutes apart. It's the world's largest peacetime airlift, bringing more than 800 athletes to this year's Special Olympics in Orlando.
It felt like we were celebrities, just coming off that plane, just everybody just rooting for us.
We flew with the Texas men's basketball team on a luxurious Cessna Citation. For David Acevedo, it's his first time on a jet. What do you think?
I'm loving it. Every moment, every minute, just take off. Had a little tingle, head tickled, but I was good.
When you're a person with intellectual disability, you are often invisible. They're going to be able to go back home and say to people without intellectual disability in their communities, guess what I did?
The airlift took 2 years of careful planning.
The biggest single cost for these Olympic teams is their travel costs. So this is one way to help them get to the games in style, offset those costs for them.
We'll see you in Orlando. Pilots like Ray Bailey donate their time, aircraft, and the fuel.
To see the excitement on these kids' face, to me, is what makes this all worth it.
Do you think this is a memory you'll hold on to?
I'll hold on to this until the day I die.
An unforgettable flight, fit for a champion.
June is Pride Month, and we are shining a spotlight on the country's first ever gay men's choir and one of its longest serving members, who shares how the group spread joy then and now. CBS San Francisco's Sharon Chin has more.
When Clint Johnson joined the first openly gay chorus in 1987, he knew he was part of something special.
One of the first songs we sang, and this was groundbreaking at the time, we sang We Kiss in a Shadow from The King and I. And that was revolutionary.
He felt safe and welcome.
The music and the experience was so life-affirming.
Hello, everybody.
And identity-affirming.
You're spectacular, and it's just beautiful.
That I could not imagine not doing it once I started.
So he's kept singing
1, 2, 3, 4.
For 35 years.
We're doing stuff that has been fun to sing.
Clint says he's driven by the music and the message. He tells me they talk about each song.
Let's try that.
And what it means.
Like this song that they're working on now. This is about the AIDS epidemic, and many of the people here did not experience it. So we have to have conversations about what that felt like.
The 64-year-old second tenor recalls the feeling all too well.
You were a part of the chorus during the time when AIDS was still an unknown.
Yes.
What was that like?
Terrifying. You would come to rehearsal one week, and the next week, so-and-so would be gone. You know, they passed away during that week.
The chorus lost more than 300 members to AIDS since 1981. This song honors those who died. Vocalists turn one by one, a symbol of each life. Rehearsing the song decades later still makes Clint cry.
It brings it all back and makes it all so very real.
But the songs also remind Clint of the chorus's resilience, coming together in comfort and courage.
You got to see the depth of empathy, the strength of our community.
And the more they felt the government and outside world brush them aside, the more they stuck side by side.
You are helping people try to live. You are helping people figure out how they want to die. And then you have to go on.
They finally determined they needed to sing hope and joy. Today, the chorus rises again, bringing hope from the darkness of the COVID pandemic.
We get letters from people who said they were contemplating suicide, but a song that they heard on one of our albums helped them see themselves in a different way.
And as they've returned to in-person concerts, Clint and the chorus are more determined than ever to spread hope, joy, and pride in their 44th year.
We now introduce you to a woman who's been decorating homes for almost 2 decades, and she does it all for people in need. And now there's a social media app that's become one of her most powerful tools in that effort. Janet Shamlian has the story.
Decorating is a full-time job for Nancy DeBoe-Cannell.
I think I'm going to go for this one.
For almost 2 decades, creating rooms from gently used donations for those making a fresh start.
I think we did just what she asked for.
Project Home Again was growing slowly.
Now it's decor time.
Until the Massachusetts woman says she started posting on social media.
Set of full flat sheets. Thank you so much.
How much of a difference has TikTok made?
Now we're giving away brand new bedding to basically almost every single client, and you can't put a value on that. It's so uplifting to them, and it just gives them so much dignity.
Hundreds of boxes arriving each month. Generosity as far away as Australia.
I think sometimes when you make a donation, you don't really know what happens to whatever it is you're donating, and now it's so concrete, they can really see it.
Social service agencies refer clients like Francesca Benitez.
Oh, I love it. I'm so grateful.
There's now a warehouse full of essentials like appliances and bedding.
People are looking for good, and I think it makes people feel good.
Harnessing the power of social media, turning houses into homes.
Coming up, after having 9 kids, what was this mom's 10th dream come true? We'll let you know. And we remember Ruby, the rambunctious shelter dog who ended up turning her life right around and then made a rescue you will not believe. Plus, the model who recently made history with a huge gig and her entrepreneur boyfriend on how they're each breaking barriers in their respective industries. Sarah Merrill put her own dreams on hold to start her family. 9 kids, and 20 years later, she has a major new accomplishment under her belt. Jamie Yukis has the story.
Sarah Merrill.
Sarah Merrill has now added the title of doctor to her top 10 list of major accomplishments. She's also mom to 9 children, ranging in age from 20 to 8.
When I got finally to the finish line, it was pretty amazing.
Dr. Merrill just graduated from the Mayo Clinic's medical school in Phoenix. The journey began more than 20 years ago when she entered Dartmouth College as a pre-med major.
When I initially went to college, I fell completely in love with neuroscience. I know you thought I was going to say my husband, but I
did. They were married with their first daughter before graduation.
I had my children in between undergrad and medical school. A lot of women have their children as they're starting their careers. Either way, it's a lot of hard work.
This week, Merrill and her supportive family moved to Indiana, where she starts her residency and continues her quest to become a neurosurgeon.
I hope that it will give, some women out there hope or inspiration to keep pushing toward their goals, even if it doesn't seem easy or entirely possible at the start.
A reminder that the path to success doesn't always look the same.
The Rhode Island State Police took a risk when they rescued Ruby the shelter dog, but her handler says it was actually fate that she became a canine trooper. Caitlin O'Kane has Ruby's story.
Ruby the rescue dog didn't always work for the Rhode Island State Police. The rambunctious pup was in and out of the shelter, returned 5 times by 5 different families.
She was deemed unadoptable because of her high energy, and she was just unmanageable. So when the shelter worker there, Pat Inman and Joe Wazika, they looked at her and just saw that she had a ton of energy that just needed to be focused and maybe put to work.
They reached out to the state police, who wanted to give her a second chance and decided to try Ruby out as a search and rescue dog. Corporal Daniel O'Neill was picked to be her handler.
We were kind of parallel because when I was younger, I was kind of a mess. I couldn't really focus and I wasn't good at school, but no one, really ever gave up on me. They always said, hey, he was a hard worker and he can really make a difference. And I think that's what they saw in Ruby, and I think that's why we were destined to be together.
A normal dog could be trained in months. For Ruby, it took 1.5 years, but O'Neill didn't want to give up on her. Finally, she became a canine trooper, and soon she became a hero.
We get a call from Gloucester Police Department stating that there was a missing boy, and we just went out and started searching. And about 8 hours into the search, Ruby just darted off into the woods, and I couldn't see her. And all of a sudden she ran down this hill, and I looked over the hill and I saw a pair of boots on the ground, and there was a young boy laying face down, and he hit his head, and he had a huge laceration on his head, and he was all stiff, and he looked like he was deceased. You know, as a father, I was emotional, but as a trooper and a handler, and the love I had for Ruby, I was so happy because she had done exactly what I had trained her to do for the last 6 years.
The boy was in critical condition, and Ruby saved his life. And when his mom found out a search and rescue dog helped save her son, they realized a serendipitous connection. The boy's mom used to work at an animal shelter.
I said, "Oh, that's funny." And she goes, "Yeah, there was this dog back in 2011 that I absolutely loved, that I heard became a state trooper back a few years ago." I said, "What?" And she said, "Yeah, her name was Ruby. I loved her. She was the sweetest thing." And I said, "Are you kidding?" I said, "What's your name?" And she said, "Oh, I'm Pat Inman." I said, "Well," I said, "Pat," I said, "that dog that you helped for all those times to get adopted and then become a trooper," I said, "just saved your son's life." And she starts crying. Then I started crying.
Ruby received honors for her hard work, but unfortunately, she was diagnosed with cancer and passed away in May. Before she passed, a Netflix movie about her big rescue premiered, so Ruby's story will continue to live on and inspire countless people.
She was the poster child for shelter dogs. I'm hoping she's a symbol for shelter dogs, that, hey, just because they're in the shelter doesn't mean they're bad dogs. They just need a chance. They need your patience. They just need your compassion and your love, and they can truly change the world.
Coming up, not just a love story, a success story. A couple with Down syndrome share how they are breaking barriers in their respective careers. Allow me to introduce you to a power couple with a powerful message to share. She's a model who made history earlier this year, in fact, and he's an entrepreneur who runs his own business. David Begnaud sat down with both of them to talk about how they are breaking barriers.
Probando. 1, 2, 3.
And with that, our conversation began with Sofia Hirao and Chris Gonzalez. To meet them, we flew to the Isla del Encanto, the island of enchantment, Puerto Rico. You could say that they are redefining the meaning of the term power couple.
Thank you, sister.
They were both born with Down syndrome.
Thank you for my makeup.
And are now promoting a campaign called Serendipitous, Without Limits. And let me tell you, they are inspiring the entire island.
My baby.
Chris, who is this?
My girlfriend, Sophia.
Sophia? And who is this?
It's my boyfriend, Chris.
I love driving.
According to Chris's parents, in 2014, he became the first person with Down syndrome on the island of Puerto Rico to get a driver's license. The 25-year-old also loves to cook, and today he runs his own food truck.
Okay.
Gonzalez's dad, Eugene, told us he is in awe of his son's drive to succeed.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, definitely. I know you're proud of him.
Oh, definitely. He's so persistent. He makes us be a better person. Maybe a couple of times he'll fail, but he knows that he has to try and try again. I guess that's what we've learned from him. That's a big lesson in life.
That's a good lesson for all
Oh,
of us.
definitely.
Chris, how does it feel to hear your dad talking so positively about you?
I'm so happy.
He's so proud of you.
I'm trying to hold back the tears here.
Tell me what's going through your head.
A lot. It's hard to explain. Seeing him with everything that he's accomplished, it's been hard for him. But he's doing it.
He's not only a trained chef, he's a barista too. In fact, he's added retail entrepreneur to his resume with his own brand of coffee.
I have brand of my coffee.
What do you have?
That's your coffee.
This is for me?
Yes.
Well, thank you, Chris.
And my girlfriend.
Oh.
Thank you.
And look what it says. Chris serendipitous.
Chris without limits.
Chris without limits.
Hirao made history earlier this year as the first woman with Down syndrome to model for Victoria's Secret.
Victoria's Secret, I love it.
And she's also taken to the catwalk at New York's Fashion Week.
I love model. I love camera.
You like the camera.
Yeah, I love camera. Hola, todos mis seguidores.
Thanks to the success of her modeling career, the 25-year-old also has a deal with the cosmetic giant L'Oreal. And she is also building her own brand. With the support of her mother, Mimi, she's working on a fashion line.
Tell me about this little blessing in your life.
She is a blessing. She's a happy person. She brings joy to everyone.
Do people stop you because they recognize you?
Sí.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do they take a picture with you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a model and a businesswoman, Hirao understands the importance of staying in shape. We were with her. We saw. She's in the gym regularly, 5 days a week, doing an hour every day. You know, she's also a social media influencer. She's got more than 600,000 followers on Instagram. To see the two of them together is really special. And although they live on opposite ends of the island, more than 2 hours away from each other, they have a standing date. It's a daily FaceTime call that we're told can last up to 3 hours.
Just to be clear, Sophia, you live in San Juan.
Yeah, I live in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
San Juan, Puerto Rico. And Chris, you live in Rincon.
Yes, I
on
live
the western side of the island.
Yes.
Yes, they may be separated by distance, but when we were there, we saw that they are inspiring each other, living their best lives and continuing to grow as individuals, following their dreams, shattering stereotypes, and embracing success and each other. They're setting an example for the rest of us to live life.
Love you.
Love you.
Without limits.
And that's our show. Did it brighten your day? Did it lift you up? It did for me. Hope it worked for you too. See you next week.